These professional chefs all want to break into the top ranks of the world's culinary elite. Deciding who has the talent to cut it is MasterChef judge Gregg Wallace.
That is lovely. I am really impressed.
And culinary legend Michel Roux Jr. With 2 Michelin stars, he's expecting perfection.
Your chicken is pink. Most diners would say that that is undercooked.
Cooking doesn't get better than this. These 4 chefs have been working in professional kitchens for years, but they want to prove they can compete at their industry's highest level.
This is professional MasterChef. We want to uncover a future culinary star.
I want to find that rough diamond that we can polish. A chef that has the talent, the raw ability to cook great food.
In today's show, the professionals will be set 3 grueling tests. Only the best chef will make it through to the quarterfinal. In this, the first of the tests, the contestants will not be cooking for Michel. As one of only a handful of 2 Michelin star chefs in the country, the 4 contestants will have to earn the right to cook for him. To whittle them down to the best 3, he's sending in his senior sous chef Monica to judge them.
Move it! Get that garnish on the plate now!
Monica, my sous chef, has been working for me for over 5 years. I trust her judgment. I know that if she says it's all right, then it's good.
Monica wants to determine who she'd be prepared to put in front of Michel. Only the best 3 chefs will have the privilege to cook for him. The other will be going home.
Right, for today, they have the skills test of shucking the oysters for us, and for the palate test, they're going to prepare an omelette of their choice. These are essential skills for any professional chef, especially if they want to step it up to Michelin level.
Let's get them in and see what they're made of.
22-year-old pastry chef Christopher has been a professional for 6 years, after being inspired to cook by his baker mother.
Christopher, 10 minutes, good luck, off you go.
I'll be very disappointed to not meet Michel Roux Jr. I can't put it into words really how much it would mean to me to meet him and for him to taste my food. I'm going to put everything into it, hit the ground running and just see how it goes.
You've had 6 minutes, you've got 4 minutes left. Have you opened oysters before?
No.
You've never opened an oyster before?
No.
Good lad. 15 seconds. Time's up.
I have to say, for someone who's never opened oysters, it was a damn good attempt at it. Well done.
Well, I'm impressed. Your hands were shaking, you never opened one, yet you managed to open all 3. We're going to now move on to your omelette.
It is very moist. The seasoning is all right, besides the black pepper, which is very strong. So you need to ease up on that. Okay.
You've obviously made a few omelettes in your time, but I don't like the way the tomatoes are sticking out. That's really scruffy. It's soft, it's light, it's moist. I think you've done pretty well. Thank you very much for your efforts. We'll get you back in soon.
With the oysters, I thought I did pretty well, seeing that I've never done it before. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing. I've seen it done before, but I tried my best. That's all I can ask of myself.
24-year-old Lewis has been in the kitchen since he was 16 and won Nottingham Young Chef of the Year in 2006.
If I did win Professional MasterChef, the job that I could get out of that would benefit me just, you know, be out of this world.
10 minutes. Good luck, off you go.
This is probably the scariest round for me. I don't want to be the guy that gets asked to leave today. I'm not doing too good.
Try the omelette. No.
Try and make us an omelette.
Yeah, get us an omelette.
Okay.
And then come back to it. Do you want to have another go at these oysters? There. That's it, time's up. Go on, stick it down.
Let's start with your skills test. As we see, you struggled quite a bit with the oysters. That's a real disappointment, you know, to struggle with 3 oysters. I really hope it's all down to nerves and given another chance, you'd be able to do better.
Well, let's bring in your omelette.
Lewis, yeah. I mean, just look at it, you know, it's a mess.
Embarrassment, definitely.
Very nicely seasoned, your omelette, very moist, but it's not presentable.
No.
It's not good enough to present to anybody.
I like the flavour combination of the cheese, the parsley and the mushrooms. It's just badly presented. Thanks for your efforts. We'll get you back in as soon as we can. Thanks, Lewis. Off you go.
I've not really performed well at all, so I'm not very confident, to be honest, I'm getting any further. Chucking of oysters, usually I wouldn't really struggle at that. I just completely and utterly buckled under the pressure and quite mad at myself for it, to be honest, but yeah.
"34-year-old Marianne trained to be an architect before pursuing a career as a chef."
You have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Time starts now. Off you go.
I've been a professional chef for 10 years. At the moment, I cook privately for a family in Ireland, and then I also teach cooking privately as well. And I've reached kind of a crossroads in my career, and I'd really like to settle, and I think something like MasterChef would be the perfect starting point for that. If I didn't get the chance to cook for Michel Roux, I'd be really disappointed. Fingers crossed I will.
You've had 3 minutes, all right, so there's plenty of time. You've got 7 minutes left. You have 90 seconds, Marianne. Right, that's it. Time's up.
Right, Marianne, the oysters, straight away, I could see that you'd done it before. Fantastic presentation, very simple, but it works. For your palate test, the omelette. Seasoning, fantastic, very moist, not overdone or underdone at all. I'd happily serve that to Chef Michel. Well done.
It's really soft in there, firm on the outside, nicely seasoned. Well done.
Monica mentioned that she would be more than happy to serve the omelette to Michel, which is really a fantastic compliment. So that makes me very happy.
Dad of one, Bobby, has spent 10 years working his way up to senior sous chef, but still feels he hasn't reached his full potential.
Are you ready?
Yep.
No, off you go.
It's important for my career that I do well here. Obviously, I like to go as far as I can, and I feel if I do well, it'll push me that wee bit, give me more of a confident boost to move on in my career and do as well as I think I can. If I go into the next round, that'd be great, but I really don't want to get put out the first round, you know.
30 seconds you've got. 5 seconds. OK, time's up.
Right, Bobby. I have to say congratulations, at least you managed to shuck the oysters.
Let's talk about your omelette.
Wow, that is way, way, way too salty. Yeah, it's so salty I wouldn't eat anymore. I dare you to serve that to Michel.
I think your omelette is really nice and soft. Such a shame. Very heavy-handed with that salt. Off you go.
That's your thing.
If I was a judge, I'm going to send me through, because that was terrible. You know, I can do much better, and I'm actually quite embarrassed for what I did, you know what I mean? So the pressure got to me, and maybe I don't deserve to go through.
Whew, didn't expect to struggle like they did. Who impressed you?
Marianne seemed the most competent at opening the oysters. The presentation on the plate was lovely and tidy, and also with the presentation of the omelette, as well as the taste, couldn't fault it. That omelette would have been very good for Michel.
Marianne's an absolute shoo-in.
If I didn't get through to cook for Michel Roux now, I'd be really disappointed. I'm very passionate, and I just love the opportunity to cook for him.
I liked Christopher. He managed to open those oysters, even though his hand was violently shaking.
He managed to open all three. Not the best way to do it, but he completed the task. His omelette overall was cooked nicely, but I have to say the pepper was too strong.
I'd like to see him cook some more.
I've got so much more to give and to show the judges that this is the most important thing in my catering career at the moment.
Now we have to decide between Bobby and Lewis.
Bobby's omelette, inedible. Way too much salt. I'm sorry. Could not serve that to anybody, let alone Michel. But Bobby did manage to shuck the oysters.
If I do go through to cook for Michel, I'll be very privileged. But personally, I don't believe I deserve to go through, because it was terrible.
As disappointing as Bobby was, Lewis came in here and he managed to rip apart that omelette, and he couldn't open an oyster.
Lewis has told us that he's been a chef for 8 years. He managed to get one oyster, and that was tough going. Lewis's omelette, you know, you couldn't present it to somebody. It looked a right mess. But taste-wise, it was nicely seasoned. It was moist.
I know he doesn't know much about oysters, but actually he didn't make a bad fist of that omelette.
I'd be very, very gutted if I didn't get to cook for Michel, to be honest. But with the way I performed today, I'm not too sure. We'll see. See.
They messed up, but whose mistake was the most damning?
One of them couldn't shuck the oysters, and the other one completely over-seasoned the omelette with salt. The chef going home today is Lewis.
Ooh, okay. Congratulations. Well done. You're going through.
Adrenaline is still pumping. It hasn't quite sunk in yet, but I'm really pleased.
I'm ecstatic after my performance there and I expect to go through, so I'm very happy and I'm going to take the next round very seriously.
I'm really pleased that I got through to cook for Michel Roux Jr. He's a big idol of mine and a big achievement for me.
It's day 2. Marianne, Christopher and Bobby are back, and this time they have the chance to cook for Michel Roux Jr. To get through to the quarter-final, they'll have to show him they can deliver the precise, inspiring food expected at this highest level.
Welcome back to the MasterChef kitchen.
In front of you, you have 2 quail. You have 50 minutes to cook 2 dishes from those quail.
Best of luck, off you go.
This is a chance for the chefs to demonstrate their versatility and skill. Their larder includes pancetta, grapes, juniper berries, spinach, red cabbage, Madeira, polenta, chestnut mushrooms, and lemon. They also have a selection of plates to give Michel a sense of their presentation skills.
The main ingredient we're giving them is quail. What I don't want to see is a chef being lazy and just chucking them in the oven. Be versatile, be clever, be a real chef. I want to see crispy skin as well. All roasted birds should have brown, crispy skin, but not overcooked.
Delicious if done properly, awful if overcooked, terrible if undercooked. Christopher, a bit less nervous this time round?
I'm not as nervous as last time, but I'm still quite nervous. But I've just got to try and keep my composure.
How important is this to you, Christopher?
Very important. I want to try and get back into fine dining, French cuisine. And fingers crossed, this competition might help me along the way. My mum was a massive inspiration in my career. She always encouraged me to cook at home. She was also very hard on me, saying, if that's not best, don't serve it up, which is my philosophy in cooking now.
I'm going to just really focus on what I'm doing, take as many deep breaths as I can, and really go for it.
What are you cooking for us today?
I'm going to cook a quail salad, and then I'm going to rare roast a whole quail and serve it with some herb polenta.
Oh, that sounds good.
Why rare?
Well, actually medium rare probably. I kind of cook all meat that way apart from chicken.
As long as it's not a bloody roasted quail.
No, it won't be walking off the plate.
Right, listen, you have 15 minutes left. Can I ask you, Bobby, what do you want to achieve in your career?
I just want to be the best that I can be, you know. I'd like to have my own place with my family, just a wee place up north, just doing really good local Scottish food, you know. I'm doing it for them, to make them proud, my son and my wife. Food does take over my life just now, but my family understand that that's what I want to do, and in the future that it's going to pay off, hopefully. I want this so bad.
One minute left. Last 10 seconds. Time's up. Time's up.
Pastry chef Christopher is hoping his lemon quail wrapped in pancetta and a herb salad will take him a step closer to his fine dining dream.
Presentation-wise, it looks rushed and heavy-handed, and I hope that's down to the nerves. You've got grapes in there, which gives it a nice balance of flavour. The seasoning, in general, it's a little bit bland, but has the correct balance of acidity. So, in that respect, good.
The quail is nicely cooked. I'd like to see you work on your presentation because I think the leaves and the fruit together with the quail is a nice combination. I think the flavours actually aren't bad.
His second dish is roasted quail with braised cabbage, mushroom duxelle, wilted spinach and Madeira and juniper berry jus.
It's not easy to make a really nice quenelle, especially when you're trembling. It could look better. Nicely brown skin and well cooked. It's very moist and it's well seasoned. Well done. Not bad.
The bird is cooked absolutely perfectly. There's butter through that spinach, giving it a really nice, creamy, slippery and salty flavour. I think your palate's great, my friend.
Thank you. I'm feeling quite pleased with some of the comments. Obviously a bit disappointed with the presentation comments. I've got to try and work really hard to go back into the fine dining way of thinking.
Private chef Marianne is hoping her quail salad with sage, pancetta and mushrooms will meet the required standard.
Lovely. First of all, I mean, I think it looks really nice. I just want to dive in. Ooh. Ooh. First thing, your quail is undercooked.
Okay.
It is very, very pink. The seasoning, for me, is beautiful. Top marks. Quail undercooked, though, is not good. Most people would send that back.
This is good. This is good flavours. Ironically, I said to you, I don't mind it pink as long as it's not bloody red. And you said, no, it'll be fine.
Her roast quail with herb polenta and Madeira must now be perfectly cooked.
I love it. I think it's the right choice of plate, and it's been dressed beautifully, it's neat. That quail is cooked perfectly well. Lovely and moist and pink as it should be. No, I like the dish. I mean, I could eat it quite happily.
It starts off almost sweet. You get the iron of that spinach and that deep, deep of that sauce. I think that is lovely. I am really impressed.
When Michel cut into the quail, my heart was sinking and I just really wanted to run for the door. It was a really silly, stupid oversight.
Dad of one, Bobby, has made breast of quail with spinach and grapes.
A salad for me should be leaves, lots of leaves, not just a token little spread of leaves at the bottom of the plate. The quail is nicely cooked. Each piece of this plate has been well looked after and well cooked, but it's lacking a dressing, lacking something to bring it all together.
It's nicely cooked quail that needs some more flavours added to it.
His second dish of whole roasted quail with braised honey cabbage and mushroom Madeira sauce needs to be more successful.
I think it looks good. Quail is roasted really well. Your sauce is top-notch. Lots of depth of flavour. The cabbage, for me, is just a little bit too sweet. But that's a lovely quail. Very good.
Quail. That bird is cooked beautifully, and that sauce is absolutely lovely.
Bobby, the two plates of food, I think, are totally different. They could have been cooked by two different people.
The starter I done didn't really represent me. I didn't think about it enough, and I let myself down.
I'm really impressed with these guys. Very impressed. Michel, there's some great cooking going on there.
What's impressed me is that all three of them have managed to get lots of flavour into that quail dish. That's good. That's good cooking.
Christopher's dishes are scruffy, but I like Christopher's flavours.
The salad was tasty, the quail was seasoned and cooked properly, but there was no finesse. He's going to have to raise his game.
This afternoon is my last chance to show the judges exactly what I'm capable of. I'm going to go in there full steam, head down.
Marianne really impressed me with the flavours and the style of her cooking. That bowl of salad was beautifully seasoned. It had so much depth of flavour. It was gorgeous. Such a shame that that quail was severely undercooked.
But when she gets it right, that polenta dish, that was superb.
There's just plenty of room for improvement. There's lots of things that need to be ironed out, and just got to watch absolutely everything.
If Bobby didn't have the best looking plate of food in here, it's pretty close. That roast quail with the red cabbage underneath and that really silky brown mushroom sauce around the outside was a thing of beauty. Silly mistake, too much sweetness in the red cabbage. Otherwise, we would be singing that boy's praises now.
The sauce was heavenly. It was just spot on. However, quail salad was flat. It was nothing. Unfortunately, it had the right ingredients, but nothing to bring it together. At this level, you can't afford to give us one good dish and one bad dish.
It's up to me now to show them my potential and what I can do well. To get through to the quarterfinals to me would be a dream. There's nothing else that I want right now.
I think it's going to be a great second round. All three of them have got chances to shine and to prove that they want to go through. To be a great chef, in my view, you have to understand the classics. They are the foundations. It's a certain discipline. It's the way to cook great food. In front of you, you have all the ingredients for a classic paella and a Portuguese custard tart.
1 hour 20, 2 classic dishes. Best of luck.
Paella is a rustic rice dish originating from Valencia in Spain. The key ingredients of the base are rice, saffron and olive oil, and it's usually garnished by a variety of vegetables, chicken and shellfish.
A great paella, in my view, the seafood should be cooked just right. The chicken cooked to perfection. The right amount of saffron, a little bit of chili or extra pepper in there to give it some zing. This is truly one of the great dishes. I want the chefs to elevate this dish from a rustic peasant dish to fine dining. Fluff up the rice, put a few mussels on top, make it look presentable.
Their second classic is Portuguese custard tarts. Created over 200 years ago by nuns at a convent in Portugal, they were first sold in a Lisbon cafe in 1837.
For me, the Portuguese custard tart has to be set. When you cut it, it mustn't be runny. The custard itself has to be smooth and silky with that hint of vanilla. The pastry has to be crumbly, has to be crisp. It can't be cloyy or undercooked. Nothing worse than that.
They do well, they're going to get a big hug off from me. If they mess these up, I'm going to be bitterly disappointed. Bobby, you comfortable with pastry?
Pastry's my main weak point in the kitchen, unfortunately. I don't spend enough time going over it. It's not my strong point.
What do you think we're looking for from you now?
A level of consistency, making sure that everything I do now is spot on.
And can you give us 2 great dishes and not just one?
That's what I'm hoping to do just now.
Bobby says he's never worked in pastry. It tells. He is worried. I am worried. Well, first of all, Christopher, you look really relaxed, which is great.
Specialise as a pastry chef where I work, so desserts are my comfort zone. Well, my mum, she's trained to be a baker, and she encouraged me to do desserts at home, and I'm doing this for my mum, really.
Presentation wasn't your greatest skill, was it, in the first round?
Not at all. I'm going to leave a bit more time to present my food this time.
Christopher, not great at his presentation. We needed him to really make a push for it.
Christopher needs to deliver the goods, especially on the custard tart if he wants to go through.
You've had 40 minutes. You're halfway. Have you made a few paellas?
Yeah, I have. I did a couple of summers in a house in the south of Spain. It's quite a tricky dish, obviously, to make because it's got to be perfect and served last minute. So,
are you going to cook it all rare, or are you going to cook it all?
I'm going to cook it all perfectly.
Marianne is obviously very eager to show us she can eradicate the mistake from the first round. She's worked in Spain. Can she really, truly pull us off a great paella dish?
Her paella should be perfect.
5 minutes to go. Seconds. Get it on the plate. That's it. Time's up.
With a quarter-final place at stake, the chef's classic dishes need to reach the standard Michel requires. First under scrutiny is their paella.
Marianne, yours first.
Presentation-wise, it looks more sophisticated than your normal paella would be. Chicken, it's pink. Seafood is cooked really nicely. The rice has got a little bite to it, but it's nonetheless cooked. Seasoning's lovely, just the right amount of saffron, but I like it.
Your flavours, as in the last round, are wonderful. Shame about your chicken.
Colour-wise, it's lovely. Pretty as a picture. Your chicken as well is very, very pink. Your squid is underdone as well. It's lacking as well balance of seasoning. It needs a kick.
I think you have a great looking bowl of food. Right, it's cooked very, very nicely. Very, very nicely indeed.
This really is a big bowl of paella. It's not refined. I also think it's lacking visually in saffron, but it's missing that golden, deep, warm saffron colour. Your chicken is pink. Most diners would say that that is undercooked. It's also taste-wise missing that lovely warmth that saffron brings. But your rice is beautifully cooked. It's still got a little bite, but it's actually very tender. It's spot on, the rice.
As a spokesman for most diners, that would go back. Your rice looks a bit anemic. You have good seasoning in there. Your squid is cooked to absolute perfection. But there are some issues. We had a few chicken issues there, didn't we? Should we see how you got on with your Portuguese custard tarts?
Marianne has served her tarts with a raspberry coulis.
I love the colour of this plate. Beautiful. The flavours are there, and I like it. It's good.
They are wonderful flavours. Yeah, the sweet sharpness of that raspberry comes first, and then you've got that lovely vanilla goo.
I've got a lot more to offer the judges. The compliments I've been getting are fantastic. Unfortunately, they've been overshadowed by this undercooking of the poultry, which is really frustrating.
Pastry chef Christopher has decided to accompany his tarts with a fruit compote.
You've stewed a bit of fruit, which is a great idea, I think. I'm not so keen on the sauce being slapdashed all over the plate, though. That doesn't look neat. Fruit compote's beautiful. I thought originally that your pastry base wasn't going to be cooked enough, but it is. It's crispy all the way through. Christopher, this is a very good effort. I can tell that you have got experience in pastry. It does shine through.
It's delicious, my friend. It's absolutely yummy.
Michel has been an idol of mine for a very long time. Him saying that my dessert was really nice was sent me to the moon. It was amazing.
The pastry could have done with a couple of minutes more. We're getting that lovely eggy flavour and just that hint of vanilla. The flavours are there.
Your pastry needs to be a bit crisper, but the creamy flavour of your custard is lovely. But someone who doesn't do pastry, I think your presentation is good. I think your custard is fantastic.
Hopefully today I've shown the judges snippets of what I can do and what my potential is. I've made some silly mistakes, but I'm hoping that they see the potential and for me to go further.
Guys, we will get you back in as soon as we've made a decision. Thank you very much for your efforts. Off you go. I would like to talk about Christopher. I think Christopher gave us good flavours today in the early round with the quail, but I think his presentation was scruffy.
It was just so rough. There was no finesse at all.
Funny enough, he got the presentation right with the paella, throwing the parsley over the top at the end, giving little specks of green. He had raw chicken, so did everybody else, but he also had undercooked squid.
His custard tarts, I thought that the berry compote was beautiful.
You can tell he's done pastry.
I'm feeling pleased about my dessert comments. I'm holding out a little bit of hope to go through.
Right, this is between Bobby and Marianne. Marianne gave us a lovely-looking quail salad. Good flavours with the mushrooms and the spinach.
It was beautiful. Such a shame that quail was severely undercooked.
With her second plate of food, perfectly pink quail sitting on herb-flavoured polenta. It looked stunning. It tasted equally as good.
I thought the paella tasted really good. I thought there was the right depth of flavour there, the right amount of saffron. Visually, it was very inviting.
But undercooked bird again.
The custard cream tarts, I thought the flavour was there, and that lovely, vibrant red colour of the raspberry coulis really worked for me.
I really want to stay in this competition. It means a lot to me. My whole career is going to hinge on this. I want to really, really go for it and really settle in and do some fantastic, faultless, immaculate cooking.
Right, let's talk about Bobby. The first dish Bobby gave us was an almost quail salad. Although nicely cooked, it just went, ugh.
It was just a token few leaves of baby spinach.
But then that whole roasted bird with the bacon or pancetta crispy around it on the bed of red cabbage with that beautiful sticky sauce with the mushrooms in it was good.
That sauce was top-notch. Such a shame that cabbage was... It was just like eating a bowl of sugar.
Paella, another undercooked chicken. But also a flavour issue from Bobby where there wasn't enough saffron in the dish. But he had seasoned, rice was nicely cooked, squid was very well cooked.
The custard cream tarts, I thought the flavour was there and the custard was very good. The pastry was slightly underdone.
I think the guy really has talent.
Today, if the result went against me, I'd be gutted, I'd be distraught, you know. Coming all the way down here and getting sent home at this stage it'd be hard. It'd be really hard for me.
Who do you think has the potential to really go far in this competition? Possibly even really make a name for themselves in a very competitive culinary world?
I think all three of them understand flavour and taste, but all three of them have made mistakes. And the chef going through to the next round is Marianne.
Going home today and telling my mum I didn't get through, she's obviously going to be disappointed, but she's going to be proud of everything I've achieved and where I've got to, really.
I still believe that I'm a good chef. I've got plenty of potential. I'm still fairly young. I'm going to go back home. I'm back in work at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm just going to go on with my life.
No, it hasn't quite sunk in yet. I'm kind of shaking and ecstatic. I just feel just amazing. It's been fantastic for my confidence to get through today. I really, really want to win now. I'm really, really excited about the competition.
Marianne will be back for the quarter-final to battle it out for the title of Professional MasterChef.